afternoon, fourth graders, and welcome back to another flipped lesson. Tonight's lesson is going to be on division, long division. But this time we're going to be looking at long division problems that include a remainder. So just to revisit, on the board I have what is division. Remember, division is the breaking down of a number. So the numbers are going to get smaller. And I like to think of it as repeated subtraction. So we're constantly subtracting a number to make the dividend smaller. Since today's lesson has to do with a remainder, I have on the board what a remainder is because I think it's very important for us to understand what a remainder is. So take a minute and I want you to write the definition of this vocabulary word in your vocabulary section. So you should have the word remainder and its definition written in your vocabulary section. A remainder is the amount left over in a division problem, because sometimes you'll find that a divisor doesn't evenly go into a dividend, and what's left over is called the remainder, and we have to write that down in our quotient when we're recording our answer. These are the typical problems that you're used to. Smaller dividends and smaller quotients. In this division problem, 19 divided by 3, I separated 3 groups. And I put 6 in each group. Because remember, division is separating into groups evenly. And whatever I don't have, or whatever I have left over, went on the outside of the circle. So I have 3 groups that have an equal number inside of them, but there's one that will make the group uneven. So I separated it and I put it to the side. This is something that you're going to see now that you know long division. You're going to find that your divisor won't go into your entire dividend evenly and that you'll have a number left over. Let's try 2 examples. The first example that we're going to do, we're going to find that there's a number left over. Watch as we follow the steps for long division. Remember, I have them up on top because it always reminds me that I have to follow certain steps when I'm doing a long division problem. So I wrote, does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? Just so that I can have that as a reminder. So the first step that I'm going to do is I'm going to ask myself, does 8 go into 1? Well, if my dividend is smaller than my divisor won't go into it. So then I'll have to look to the next number and I'll have to put both of the numbers together. And I'll ask myself, does 8 go into 16? And I know that 8 goes into 16 2 times. So I'm going to go above my 6 and I'm going to write the number 2 because 8 goes into 16 2 times. Then I multiply. And remember, I put a little multiplication symbol on the corner of my house just as a reminder that that's the next step after I divide. So I multiply 2 times 8, and I know 2 times 8 is 16. I put that down below, and then I subtract. 16 minus 16 is 0. Then I check. So I create a new division problem, and now it says 0 divided by 8. Well, I can't divide 0 into 8 pieces, right? The number inside the house has to be larger than the number outside the house in order for us to go into it. If I can't, I go right to the next step, which is to bring down. So I bring down that 5 because that 5 is the place value that we haven't really touched yet. So I bring the 5 down, and now I say, can 8 go into 5? No, right? It can go into it 0 times. So I actually write the 0 up on top of the house because I just brought that down. And once I bring down a number, I have to start all over again. Okay? So I brought down that 5. I did my division. 8 goes into 5 0 times. I wrote it above my place value. And now I multiply. 0 times 8 is 0. And I subtract, right? That's the next step. So we have 5 minus 0 is 5. Create my new symbol. And I check. Can 8 go into 5? No, it can't go into 5. Remember, the number inside the house has to be larger than the number outside the house. So if I can't divide and I don't have any more numbers to bring down, then the number left inside the house at the end is my remainder. So I have 20, remainder 5. So 165 divided by 8 is 20, remainder 5. Let's look at the next example. Again, we're going to be able to look up at does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers, and that's going to help us when we're solving this problem. So the first step is to look at the first place value. Does 7 go into 7? Yeah, 7 can go into 7 one time. I'm going to put my multiplication symbol on the corner of the house because that's going to remind me that the next step is to multiply. So we said that 7 goes into 7 one time. 1 times 7 is 7, and then I subtract. 7 minus 7 is 0. I create a new division problem. And I check. Can 7 go into 0? Nope. So I bring down. And I'm going to bring down my 1. And I divide, right? Because after I bring down the 1, I go to the division again. I start over. When I ask myself, how many times does 7 go into 1? My answer is 0. 7 can't go into 1. So I go up above that place value. 7 goes into 1 0 times. It doesn't go in. And then I multiply. 0 times 7 is 0. I subtract. 1 minus 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. I create a new division problem. And I check. Does 7 go into 1? Nope. Do I have another number to bring down? Yeah. I'll bring that number down. Does 7 go into 12? Yeah, it can go into 12, but it won't go in evenly. So I know that 7 can go into 12 one time without going over. If it went into 12 two times, the number would be too large, so it wouldn't work. So 7 can go into 12 one time without going over. Then I multiply. 1 times 7 is 7. Then I subtract. 12, take away 7 is 5. I create a new division problem, and I ask myself, can 7 go into 5? No, it's too small. So I say, do I have any more numbers to bring down? I don't have any more numbers to bring down, so I stop. I can't divide. If there are no more numbers to bring down, I have to stop. So now my remainder is 5. So the answer to this division problem, 712 divided by 7, is 101, remainder 5. Now take a look at these on your own. 127 divided by 4 will give you a remainder. Try both of these problems on your own in your practice section of your notebook. Remember, there's a section for questions and suggestions. Try your hardest, do your best, and have fun. Good night.